Party people, what's good? Party people, what's good? What's good, party people? Happy Friday. It is officially Friday. It's been a long week. It is Friday. Do me a favor. Number one, you know how we do. If you can hear me, drop a 1 in the comments. If you can see me, drop a 2. If you can hear me, drop a 1 in the comments. If you can see me, drop a number 2. Do me a favor. Let me know in the comments who you are, where you are watching from. Tag a content creator, tag a photographer, tag a filmmaker, anybody, any beginners. If you're on the beginning stages of your content creation, filmmaking, photography, you want to figure out how to level things up, let me know. Andrew in the house. Andrew says, we got a 1 and a 2. What's good, Andrew? Hope all is well. Listen, hope everybody is staying warm. I'm sick. You know, we can't really complain in North Carolina. You know what I'm saying? Because as a matter of fact, see, David Hunt says he's watching from Lancaster, MA. I think I did all right in U.S. geography. I'm assuming that's Massachusetts. So I'm not complaining because I know it's probably 10 times colder in Massachusetts than it is here right now. But listen, I've got 7 people watching. We're live right now on Facebook and YouTube. YouTube, what's going on? I've missed you guys. I've got like 5 videos in the queue that I'm supposed to be uploading. Yo, Andrew said he watching from Kansas City. Yeah, I ain't complaining. Because I'm pretty sure it's cold out there. I'm pretty sure it's cold out there. Ansem said Fort Lauderdale. That's what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? We crossed the country today. You know what I'm saying? Keith said, we got this snow, bro. When I look around and think things over, listen. Yo, Andrew said it was 8 degrees this morning. Hey man, listen. This constant 30 is killing me. It's killing me, man. It's killing me. David Hunt said drop them videos. Absolutely. I've been working. We've been working tremendously hard. I've been cheating on my girlfriend named YouTube. You know, baby, I'm sorry. I'm coming back. YouTube is a job. Those of you who are getting into content creation, if you're not in it already, it is a job. Keith said, go ahead and sing I Won't Complain. No, sir. No, sir. No, sir. We're not singing that this morning. But yeah, like I said, I told y'all, I think I went live Monday, or maybe it was last week. I don't remember what day it was. But we're going to try to do be present a lot more. I've been sharing a lot of content specific around photography. That's probably one of the elements that I didn't really get to touch on when I was really grinding trying to build YouTube. We kept talking about video, kept talking about cameras, products, all these different types of things, but photography is the thing that I probably love the most, more than anything. That's my hobby. That's where I kind of just get away. And so I've been sharing a lot of content. If you've been following me on Facebook, if you've been following me on Instagram, you know what I'm saying? Hopefully you've been enjoying that. Trend, what's going on? Trend, do me a favor. Drop your, drop the link, drop your channel, you and your brother's channel in the comments. Y'all do me a favor. Brilliant young lady, up and coming content creator, up and coming social media manager. Within the year, I guarantee you she's going to be a household name because she's a household name right now. You just ain't heard about it in your house yet. Carlos, absolutely, man. Been really missing your videos. I know, man. I know. I've been missing putting them out, but January has been like that, and I'm grateful. I'm grateful. Keith said, bro, you too hot for Facebook only. Either restream or got to YouTube. Pretty much, man. Pretty much. That's what I'm saying. I got to just make it a habit. You know what I'm saying? And just do it. Sammy Superstar, what's going on, man? And we got activity today. You know what I'm saying? It's Friday. Y'all ain't got no job. You ain't got nothing to do. Trinity, you didn't make it yet. You making them today. Listen, absolutely. Well, don't worry about it, Trinity. I'm going to post it. But listen, I'm going to give this about 20 minutes. And then I'm gonna jump on out of here. Like I said, tag a photographer, somebody you know that deals in photography that's just beginning. I appreciate everybody that's been sharing the content, jumping in. I've had a lot of questions behind the scenes about, you know, basics, beginning, whether it's the type of camera, where do I start? And so I've been sharing a lot of different content specific to that. And that's what I want to do. So if you haven't had a chance to catch the video from yesterday, I'm going to upload it to YouTube. I'm gonna upload it to YouTube. I'm sorry, I've been forsaking y'all. I'm gonna upload it to YouTube. I'm really kind of in this vertical video realm right now. I've been in it. I was a fan of vertical video before it became a thing. You know, I'm just like, yo, if you hold your phone like this 9 times out of 10 all day, you should probably want to watch content like that. So I've always been a fan. So yeah, she said, I'm gonna steal your background. It's all right. Honestly, I got away from it and I came back to it. A lot of people were kind of questioning, like, why did I use these colors? You know what I'm saying? Really, it was IG. I kind of stole it from IG. I wanted to stop the scroll. These colors have nothing to do with like my personal brand as a whole. Like if you follow me with Create, Inspire, and Solve, but YouTube, like the thumbnails and all those different types of things. Like if I throw my screen back up, y'all have seen my thumbnails pretty much are consistent across the board. And so that's what I've stuck to. It's gotten me the attraction. It's really worked. It's really worked. You know what I'm saying? So again, like I said, those of you that are getting into the content creation game, Trinity, this is a lesson for you specifically. You know, when you're on this grind, it's okay to look at what other people are doing. Find out what works for you. Stick to it. Put your head down and don't pay attention. Just go. Just go. What's going on, Selena? Selena says, are you using Zoom or Restream? I am using Restream. Zoom wish they could do this. Zoom has made some purchases as of late that I'm excited about. I don't have time to talk about now, but they got a lot of things coming. Zoom NDI. Whoo. To me, Skype is still a little bit more stable, but everybody in the world has been using Zoom, and kind of sucks trying to tell somebody to download another application, but Zoom NDI, definitely. I know people like Kevin, Keith. I know a lot of people have been talking about that in some of our communities. He said that strawberry mango pro. Yeah, Sammy said your thumbnails are great, man. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Right, you've been super consistent with your brand. I have to be. It's one of the things I preach the most, so I've got to be specifically consistent with that. But let's jump into it. Let's jump into today. I said we're going to talk about photography, so, you know, I've been talking about everything else. But let's go ahead and get to the main thing. So, again, today is a different day. David Hunt said, your thumbnail game is fire. Appreciate it. Sanina said, I just started using Restream for my dear worship leader. Absolutely love it. Yes, Restream is the bomb.com, and if StreamYard is not careful, they're going to get smacked in the face. Now, there's some things about Restream and their studio that I'm still like, okay, what are you guys going to do next? I know StreamYard has been making some, but next to Ecamm, and I tell people, I love Ecamm. You know, all of my OBS users, get a life. Unless you're on PC. If you're on PC, I actually prefer you use vMix. OBS has come a long way, and if it's a budget thing where you need to find something, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, do what you got to do. You know what I'm saying? Make it happen. Do what you got to do. But if you're on a Mac, there's only one way to go. Ecamm Live. I know a lot of people can't deal with that feed, but I'm like, hey, I do this professionally as well on the side. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it pays for itself. And the thing is, even if you don't do it professionally, when somebody sees the ability of what you can do, you gonna get hired. But that's another conversation for another day. Another conversation for another day. Sammy Superstar says, I know you're an A10 mini guy. I found out that you can automatic camera switch with audio. Yes. Yes, a lot of people. Sammy, I don't know if you're a member of the group, but on Facebook, they have an A10 mini group. Jump in that group. It will change your life. So much information if you're not already familiar with that. vMix is great on PC. Absolutely. Yeah, vMix gives you so much more control with the back end bit rate. Yeah, it does. Like it does. vMix is that, you know, like I said, I'm a Mac guy, but if I ever had to, you know, pull out the PC, we got vMix. Matter of fact, I haven't done that in like maybe since early last year, so I kind of need to refresh myself on that. David Hunt says the A10 mini automation camera switch. Bet. Yeah, all right, so I'm gonna let y'all talk in the comments. I'm gonna go ahead and do what I got to do. You know what I'm saying? Hey, for all of y'all that are streaming, controlling whatever, just hold on. Keep controlling your stream. Keep controlling stick to the topic. Because like I said, I'm gonna try to hit this in 10 minutes. I'm gonna try to hit this into. There is another web-based software that is fire, better than Restream and StreamYard. Sammy, I know you can't be talking about Streamlabs. You can't be talking about OBS. You can't be keep saying what the Sammy, what service are you talking about? I feel like I know, but I can't call it off the top of my head. I'll let y'all decide that. All right, I'm gonna jump over here. We've been talking about photography. I've been loving the A7IV. Yo, if you got the A7IV, yeah, he trying to get me off focus, Keith. If you got the A7IV Wave video, ooh, Melon is cool. I've seen stuff about Wave. We'll see what happens. But I've been loving the A7IV. If you got the A7IV, drop it down in the comments. In my opinion, for the hybrid creator, whether you're doing video or photography, to me, this is Sony's best work of art. I know a lot of people will talk about the A9, the A1. Those are, they are geared towards photography shooters. The A7S3, because of the large pixels, it takes beautiful photos. You don't want to use that in a photo shoot. You know what I'm saying? People be like, well, what about the A7R4? The files are too large. When you're a hybrid content creator, your thing is being able to create content quickly. Being able to create content quickly, turn that thing around quickly. You know what I'm saying? And so the Sony A7 III was magnificent, but the A7IV is it. I don't care what they come out with this year. That is it. Double down. Buy two of them. Don't buy something else. I don't care about, I think they're coming out with the A7C2 or whatever. Forget all of that. If you just solely doing video, have edit. But if you're trying to live in this hybrid world like I'm living, where you want to go between the two in an instant, do that. So yesterday I talked about, I did a brief tutorial. It wasn't brief because it was like 15 minutes, I think. That's brief in terms of the amount of information that's packed in it. And so your ability to understand the exposure triangle, everything that goes into it. So for those of you that didn't see it, and you know, you may share this because I know people are like, I ain't gonna watch the video, but you will watch it live. Don't really make sense to me. But I'm gonna show you specifically some of the things that I was talking about. So let's jump over here. Jonathan Turner, hey sir, nice info. Let's jump over here. All right, so what you're looking at now, this is the same thing I did yesterday, except we were in portrait mode. So what you're looking at now is this little fake plant that every YouTuber has in whatever variant. I have several. This is just the one that I have, and you can kind of see Batman in the background. All right, when most people pick up a camera, either they shoot in auto or it looks something like this. You know what I'm saying? They either shoot in auto and it regulates all the settings for them, or it look like this. I'm talking about those who are trying to make the switch to manual. All right, so one of the things you see off the gate is that this photo is overexposed. It's overexposed. So normally, and I'm specifically using, I'm using the Sigma 30. I'm in crop sensor mode just because it's the first thing I grabbed, and I wanted to make a point with the f1.4. I'm not on Keith's level. I don't have God's checking and routing number, so there ain't a 1.2 in my bag yet. There ain't nothing with a 1 and a 2 in the same sentence yet. It's coming, but I don't have that routing number and account number, so it'll get there. So I just threw on the Sigma, the 30 millimeter, that f1.4. And so again, just to do a quick recap for those who don't know, that F number is the f-stop, is what we refer to as the aperture. Remember your aperture, that's the hole that's inside of your lens. And so when you're shooting wide open at f1.4, all right, that means that you're shooting wide open. So on the lower end of the spectrum, the lowest that lens can go is f1.4, which is what you hear people refer to as wide open. That also gives you the most shallow depth of field. In other words, for people who don't understand what depth of field is, it's the blurry background. So you can see how it looks like the little vase is kind of in focus, and then Batman and everything behind it is out of focus. That's what people go for. They always reach and be like, I need a prime lens, you know what I'm saying? And I want to shoot wide open. Here's the problem when it comes to photography that you can get away with in the video world because you can be cinematic. Photography world, depending on what the use case is, You can't get away with it. So number one, let's go over that real quick. We just talked about aperture. Number two is the shutter speed. That's that number you see right there. That's 2/50. 2/50. So again, remember, shutter speed controls the amount of time you allow that allotted light coming through the aperture, coming through the lens to hit the sensor. So an easy way to understand this, shutter speed really affects motion blur. That's the simplest way. We can get into banding, light, frequencies, all the other stuff. The easiest way to understand it is that shutter speed affects kind of like the sharpness and your ability to hold your lens steady. So usually if I'm shooting photography, my starting point is either 1/200th of a second or 1/250, because there's always going to be handshake when you press that shutter. So 9 times out of 10, as soon as I turn my camera on, we go right to 1/250, because that's going to give me, I'm confident in, my ability to stabilize the camera. And then that's usually going to give me the best results of not affecting anything. Loranda says, do you do product photography? I don't do it, but I can do it. Loranda, you already know this. Get at me. All right. So the other thing is the ISO. You can see right now that's 4,000. That's 4,000. That's high. ISO is simply, I tell people, it's like the sensitivity of the sensor. And so it pretty much controls your overall exposure. Your overall exposure. Again, it controls your overall exposure. The thing is about the exposure triangle, everything affects one another. So if I change the aperture, it's going to affect the shutter speed. If I change the shutter speed, it's going to affect the ISO. I know there are different modes like aperture priority, shutter priority, all these different things that we can get into. I got like 10 minutes. We don't have time to necessarily get into that today. So again, I just want to do a quick overview of kind of when I start changing things, what this looks like. So if I'm looking at this right here, if I'm looking at this vase, one thing I know is that this is overexposed. So the first thing I'm going to do, definitely, if I want to stay at the shallow depth of field, I'm going to leave my aperture at, f 1.4. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my ISO down. And so you start to see when I change the ISO, what that looks like. Now we get super, super dark. Now, one thing I'm not going to talk about, but one thing the camera does tell you is that there's a setting. It's called metering mode. If you look at that that is the metering mode. That is basically giving me an indication whether or not I'm over or underexposed. According to the metering mode right now, I'm underexposed. So if I want to leave my shutter speed where it is, if I want to leave my aperture where it is, I have to adjust the ISO. So what I'm going to do, if I go back up to about 1250, based on the metering mode, now I'm pretty much I have a roughly perfectly exposed image. All right. Now here's where we start to get into trouble. Here's where we start to get into trouble. If you look at this, the vase itself is in focus. All right. So that's in focus, but we have leaves up here, and I'm really doing this the wrong way because I'm actually changing the focal plane, and I shouldn't be doing that. But you can see now now when the leaves are in focus, the vase is out of focus. This is where the aperture comes into play, where we're talking about changing the depth of field. So remember what I talked about in the video. If you haven't seen it, if I want to get more of this vase, the whole thing in focus, I got to raise that aperture up, because that also affects my focal plane. So it tells me what it is that needs to be in focus. So what I will do is I will raise up my aperture, and I already know I'm gonna need to go up to probably, most people will jump to 2.8. I already know because I did this yesterday. I'm gonna probably need to jump to about F4. Well, you can see when I jumped to F4, it got super dark. So what do I have to do? I have to make an adjustment somewhere. All right, now I can drop down because I'm sitting in a stabilized environment. I can drop, my shutter speed, and I can go 1/200, 1/160, but I don't want to go any lower than 1/160, to be honest with you. So I'm like, I might as well go back and keep it at 250. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bump up my ISO, and I'm gonna end up somewhere around either 5,000 or 6,000. So now you can see, based on the metering mode, I'm pretty much I'm back at a perfect exposure. But one thing I want you to notice now is that Batman is a little more in focus than he was before. So that's the trade-off. So again, with the exposure triangle, you got to understand what your trade-offs are. Everything affects everything else. So now my plant is probably in focus, the green and the vase, but now Batman over here. All right, so we're gonna do another class talking about autofocus and all these different types of things. You know what I'm saying? And let's just say I wanted to change my composition. Bam, there you go right there. I go over here and focus, change my composition, rule of thirds, bam, we stay right there. I want to come back to Batman, bam, I change my composition, stay right there. Again, that's another class for another day. But again, I want you to pay attention again. Now my plant is in focus, but I had to compensate for the exposure in the room. So because I raised up my aperture to f4.0, I had to deal with the ISO. I had to raise that up. I had to raise my shutter speed up. All right, so why does this matter? Why does this matter? Let's get back to the matter at hand. And like I said, I got about 5 minutes left, and then we're gonna have a quick conversation. I'm gonna get out of here. Let's go over here. I told y'all I was gonna show you this specifically in Lightroom. This is why 33 megapixels matter. This is also why shooting with flash matters, but that's a conversation for another day. So this is a picture I took. You guys saw me post this. You saw that as the finished image. That was my personal preference. That was my personal edit. This is what the client wanted. All right. This is what the client wanted. This is what the colors they want. That's my personal preference, just for like stylistic purposes with IG or whatever. But this is what the client wanted. I want to show you where we started at. This is the original photo. So again, I've had some people talk about Lightroom, Photoshop. Just as a quick aside, I do all of my photo management in Lightroom. I do all of my coloring in Lightroom because I know Photoshop has Photoshop Raw. I do everything in Lightroom. Then I do all of my retouching in Photoshop. So I do all of my management, color correcting in Lightroom, and then I do my retouching in Photoshop. So as you can see over here, you can see all of these adjustments that I have. You know what I'm saying? You can see all of the adjustments or whatever that I made from the original. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna show you guys, I'm gonna make a virtual copy real quick, and I'm gonna show you. Let me tell y'all something. When you learn the software, it'll treat you nice. So that's what the photo looked like straight out of camera when I got done. So you want to try to get as close to a perfect image as you can. This one right here, I probably could have controlled the lighting better, but we were on a schedule. So I'm like, yeah. Andrew said, have you tried retouching in Lightroom? I have. I've done it on the phone. I've done it on the iPad. I've done it on my computer in a crunch. The controls in Photoshop are much better because remember, Photoshop was never meant for designing graphics. It's called Photoshop. We turned Illustrator. Remember, think about it like Publisher. Think about the old school software. Microsoft Publisher is similar to Illustrator. You know what I'm saying? Photoshop is really kind of similar to Paint. We turned it was meant for photos, and the true essence of Photoshop is for photography, for people, dogs, whatever you want to do. A lot of people we because humans are genius, we just took it to the next level, and people use Photoshop to create everything. You know what I'm saying? So this was the original photo. All right. So even straight out the camera, this is I need y'all to understand something. I need you to see what's happening. The photo looks sharp. It looks fine. It's like, okay, that's a sharp photo. This is why you pay your photographer. This is why you pay your photographer. This is why you pay your photographer. Because let's say if I needed, depending on what the application of the photo was, if I needed to make a huge crop, I see too many photographers do this, and I'm not ragging on nobody. I mean, even professionals. I hate when people do this. If the photo is bad out of camera, it's gonna be bad when you edit it. If you miss focus in camera, some people will still try to retouch a photo, and it only makes it worse. And you can always tell when you crop in. Let's say if this is the crop that they wanted, like this is all in camera. Y'all can see, if you look over here at my pane, I haven't made one adjustment. I haven't made one. I ain't even turned off chromatic aberration. I haven't made one adjustment. Everything is on 0. That's straight out of camera. That's the power of 33 megapixels. That's the power of that Zeiss 55, which is arguably one of Sony's sharpest rated lenses. That's why 50 millimeters is supposed to be equivalent to what the human eye sees. I love the 55 because like I said, I don't have God's routing number and checking account like Kirk does. So we're not finna go get no 50 millimeter G Master, no 1. No. I'm good with this Zeiss, this 1.8. And again, most likely, I'm probably, if I'm doing a portrait session, I'm probably not gonna shoot it at 1.8 anyway. As you can see, I shot it at 2.8. And I think this one was actually the 85 millimeter, all right? So like you said, David, clarity in the crop. Clarity, clarity in the crop, clarity in the crop, all right? So now when I do my color correction, this is where I start adjusting my colors. And I start to add, this is a very strong photo. This is about presence. So I start to add some of that clarity. So now I even enhance that clarity. Here's the thing. But when you enhance the clarity a little bit, you start to see it can bring out some of the natural blemishes that we have. Now, I'm not saying it. We just having an honest conversation for the client. All right. Another thing. So by the time I'll show y'all, we'll skip this edit because then this is just about personal preference as far as what I like. But one thing I want you to see is we took out the blemishes. So matter of fact, let's do this. Let's do reference. Where's my start point? All right, so this is the end point. Y'all got me tripping. I don't know why I'm doing this. All right. All right, so this is where we ended. This is where we started. I'm trying to do this on live. So again, very simple changes. They didn't want a dramatic edit. They didn't want to look like a baby doll. They didn't want to look like a toy soldier. Keep me natural. I'm a man. I got a beard. Keep my skin, keep my eyebrows, keep the skin texture. Just clean it up. Just clean it up. This is a very quick retouch, not something that's heavily intensive where we go in and we start removing things like crow's feet and we clean it up. No, just very simple. Very simple blemishes. You know what I'm saying? That shouldn't be there or aren't gonna. My rule of thumb is if it's not gonna be there next week, take it out. Certain moles and certain things that may be distracting to the overall photo. You know what I'm saying? I think this might be a mole on the nose. I could have left that. Little things, right? Andrew, texture is everything. I hate when people do this right here. This is what people do right here. I hate when people do this right here. Let's get out of here. Let's get out of this. I'm gonna show y'all what people do. Where my photo I started with. I started with this, right? This is what people do. I hate when they take that number right there and just throw it up. Then they try to come back and add the sharpness back. It's like, no. Like you've already killed the photo. Like you've already killed the photo. You've already killed the photo. All right. So again, hopefully we've talked about it a lot. I just ran through a whole lot very, 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 very quickly. And hopefully we on the same page. I'm hoping we're on the same page. I am hoping we are on the same page again. 100% no, every single time. I'm like, every single time. And then Photoshop has a new feature called neutral filters. So Photoshop called themselves, trying to help you work quicker. They have a new feature called neutral filters to where you can go in and soften the skin and jack that joint up. And people just doing that. And I'm like, so when you ask for a shoot and you get quoted a certain number, you get taken aback. Like, wait a minute, like portrait innovations don't cost that much. Well, my man over here charged me $25. Like, Keith, you will attest to this. The lens hood costs more than $25. Because I broke the one on my 85 and I had to replace it. It was $38 for the lens hood. And a lot of people's like, I don't use that. I'm like, it comes in handy when you're shooting in the sun and you're trying to keep out some of the glares. The lens hood costs $38. You charge somebody $25? Like, there ain't nothing on the camera that costs $25. Like, nothing. A strap costs $70. like what? I ain't ragging on nobody. JP said, don't get me started, preach. I'm like, somebody charged you what? And again, I know we all got to quote unquote start somewhere, and experience kind of is the best teacher. But understand, this is another conversation for another day. Understand that your starting point, yo, they just paying for lunch, bro. They ain't paying for lunch. Not no good lunch, because you got to leave a tip. Not no lunches we going to. Because after the shoot, if we going to lunch, what else in that? We going to eat good. We done work hard today. The tip might be $25. We can go to Chipotle, you know what I'm saying, or whatever. Cava, however y'all say it. But yo, Bishop JP on the Facebook side, JP get over here on YouTube. Yeah, but yeah, absolutely, man. I appreciate y'all so much. I'm going to be doing a lot more of this. We're going to be doing a lot more of this. Like I said, I'm jumping in, talking about the basics, getting back to fundamentals, because we get so caught up in the gear, we don't know how to use it. Shout out to Diana Gladney, who has been a consistent fundamentalist. She posted a video on IG today talking about the basic rules of the 180 degree rule as it relates to video. So it's like to make sure you have the proper motion blur. So if you're shooting in 30 frames per second, then your shutter speed needs to be 1/60. If you're shooting in 24, then 1/50. If you're shooting in 60 frames per second, 1/120. You know what I'm saying? So listen, I appreciate y'all. Thank you so much. I got to bounce. I told y'all, all right, we got to get out of here. You know what I'm saying? 1 o'clock is usually my cutoff time. But you know what I'm saying? Y'all be easy. Have a great rest of your day. It's Friday. Stay warm. For all of my people out there in the Midwest, for y'all that's on the Northeast, yo, Keith, I'm praying for y'all. I hope that nor'easter don't come in like the mighty rushing wind is looking like. In Massachusetts, all of y'all, they're talking about we gonna get snow in the morning, like early in the morning, like 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever. I'm sick of it. I'm just over it. Spring me so we can get outside, so we can do this meetup somewhere. But y'all be easy. Like I said, tag a photographer, tag an aspiring photographer, anybody, tag a content creator. I promise you, you're gonna see more of my beautiful face more often. YouTube, I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. This is the official kickoff of YouTube season 2022. Let's get it. Y'all be easy. Enjoy my beautiful face, and I'll catch y'all on the flip side. Have a great weekend.